Hello, guys. Welcome to the channel. My name is Basil, and I'm the founder of Sendit Markets, a marketplace where you can buy and sell anything and create passive income in USDC and USDT. And so, I want to discuss today what is it like being a startup founder in the crypto world, but the challenges that we see forthcoming now in the so-called bull market, and how to navigate it if you are planning on building or you are currently building a product in the Web3 space. So obviously, we have to start from the jump. In 2021, I would say, is when we started seeing real world applications start coming to the market, where people can actually start using. And the majority of the products that were in the space were mostly around DeFi and as well as NFT. So those two industries. Of course, DeFi is it's finance. Everything that was happening on chain is derived with money and capital. So it was easy to build applications around yield products or speculative certain products, but ways for people to use their capital investments, whether through staking or providing liquidity to earn yield. And that was what was exciting at the time. And what ended up happening throughout those years is that it became more difficult to try to convince the user to try to keep capital in, as they've realized with these rewards, when they ask where they come from, you have to realize that they come from inflation of that token. So what ends up happening is the token in itself gets devalued. So if the product or platform can't keep up with maintaining mindshare or building to expand the narrative of the product, there seems to be issues with that. And then in the end, is just users get hurt because the capital investments end up going down. So NFTs at the time were just reasons for people to want to get in, that you didn't really need to know much about the reasons of why you're holding it or what is the purpose of that product. You can sit here and say it's a one of one or 1 out of 10,000, and that was what was exciting, or what made it like, what gave you reasons for why you wanted to buy that thing. The scarcity of that product and the community, right? So anyways, moving forward into 2025 now, things have kind of now developed in a way where it is difficult to try to maintain mindshare for the product that you are building. And that is mainly because it is very easy right now to create tokens, and which allows entry positions for anybody to be able to move across and buy across different tokens across different platforms. We are up to now 30 million different assets that is in the market, 30 million plus, and that's growing every single day. I mean, there's like 60,000 tokens that are being generated every single day on Pump Fund. So the value of a token in general has been devalued, and because liquidity has been fragmented. So it's kind of come down to really, you don't need any utility to start to maintain your positions or maintain your reasons for why you want to keep holding. And sometimes and also the narratives for purpose for holding and becoming a diamond hands contributor or like diamond hand investor is less and less when you're seeing a lot more opportunities being created every single day on Pump Fund, right? And a lot of other industries that don't need to have any technical background can now get involved, right? Like Trump creating a meme coin for no purpose. I mean, they can create a roadmap for the reasons why you should hold, but that's just at the end of the day promises that have yet to have been delivered, correct? And the same thing is going to be happening for every single coin that's being launched, right? Everybody's going to want to, anybody who's launching a coin is going to be creating a reason for why you want to hold this coin. So in general, it's all speculation to try to create mind share, and whatever mind share or narrative that is currently popular is what is getting that attention and capital. And that usually flows very quickly, and the lifespan for that seems to come in and out as quick as it comes in, right? And it leaves as soon as it comes in, because there's always, in a couple days or in a week, there is something new and shiny that capital will flow into that will take that mind share. But with that, moving around, there's a lot of people's capital that people are losing. And so there's more losses. There's a higher chance of you essentially not making a good investment on your capital. So, where does it leave you as a founder or someone who's trying to build a startup in this world when it essentially all was stemmed from the idea of, hey, we're building a product, get excited around it, get a community built around it, and try to, you launch a coin, get people excited about that, and get investors to want to invest in your product, right? Build up a treasury of, multiple seven figures if possible, and go and have a runway for the next, 3-4 years building products. It used to be the case that you could do this and not be an L1, and now more specifically has shifted where it is more difficult. But the reason why is because the products that are currently in the space have to change. Okay, there's one video that I really recommend you guys watch, and it's by this Lightspeed. I'm gonna show it right here. Right here. So by Lightspeed, an update on the Solana thesis with Santiago Santos. So Santiago over here is the founder of Inversion Capital. And what he is trying to, and what he discusses essentially in the podcast is that we need to start building products outside of the speculative purposes, as well as the fact that we need to start building products that retain its users. So why do we need to start retaining our users? The reason why we want to start retaining our users is because you want to have a community of users that you could always grow over time, that believes in what it is that you're providing, but also is providing something to me that is more sustainable than just prices going up and down for speculative purposes, right? So I need another use case besides just the price movement of whatever token or whatever it may be that I'm in, right, or invested in. So what I'm trying to say, and what Santiago also says, is that we see this very well in the Web2 world, right? People building businesses and just traditional businesses that build sustainable income or passive income, you could say also, right? On the means of that, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a banking application, whether it's whatever, but you can get on board, get the access, and get the benefits of what blockchain technology provides, but get access to that sustainable use case and get, for example, passive income from a product. And as well, now that you have capital that's on chain, you can use that capital to start participating in getting DeFi yield on your stable coins and just building generally around more stable assets like stable coins, of course, as the number one PMF in all of crypto, right? And as you can tell, like if you do some research, stablecoins have the top 10. If you look at the top 10 countries that use stablecoins that have the mass adoption for stablecoins, they're all emerging markets. So how can you also build stuff that's going to bring more use cases to stablecoins? So you need to build products that are going to offer value to the consumer on that basis. And if you want to get to a point where you're going to be releasing a token, it is still possible to be successful. You just need to maintain your community, right? But your community is only going to want to be maintained if they see that they are receiving value besides the speculative asset or speculative part of what your product provides. So that is actually why we're building what we are building, which is Sendit Markets, and the marketplace where you can essentially sell content, digital products, services, communities. You can sell stuff, whether it's and you can create passive income using these stable coins. And now, as my consumers, right, or my users, whether it's a merchant or a creator, now they're seeing some value where they're like, oh, now I'm receiving an income that is reliant, that I can consistently expect every single month, right? But those actions of me receiving those are reliant on my actions, whether it's my ability to do marketing or my affiliates that are selling my products. But I can expect to grow this passive income over time rather than participating in more speculative means of trying to create capital, which one day could be $1,000. This month is 10,000, but then the next month you're negative 5,000. So you could lose that. It's not like you're always compounding that 10K. And that is why the importance of building products around stable coins is where I see the next year, 2 years, 3 years, and the 5 years where mass adoption is actually going to happen. I mean, we've also even seen, because of the current meta of people being able to create tokens left and right, a lot of institutions, like major institutions, whether it's I can see, for example, a bank, a common bank, or even just some sort of large KOL with a community of his own, go ahead and say, essentially, whether even it's like a president, right, can get on board and just be like, hey, I have these I'm an affluent person, and I have the ability to influence my community. Or I'm Apple, for example, and I want to integrate blockchain technology. I'll just go ahead and release my own Apple coin, right? So now you're onboarding all of your users, and now Apple, for example, has another means of being able to get extra capital that's besides their products and services that they provide, right? The same thing if McDonald's was to go and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and launch a token now. People would go and buy it because they understand and recognize how large the brand and their consumers and the size of their consumers, you know what I mean, understand and recognize that brand. So if they were to do it, I feel like they would just technically do it directly on the Solana blockchain, just because it is so it's like that's where all the activity already is, right? And if they want to create the least amount of friction, the consumers are already saying, essentially, like, use Phantom, connect Phantom, on ramp on Phantom, buy X token. So it's already an understood 3-step process. While going through the trouble, instead of going through the trouble of trying to create their own on ramping and all those different things. Although it is possible, and it is likely that they can do that, right? Because we do have the tech to be able to do that. But there's 2 ways that people can go about it, right? Or these industries or KOLs or these large, affluent, influential brands and products and KOLs can go ahead and use. So I would look at those. If you're a startup, look at building products around around sustainable assets, like stable coins. And then, just if you're someone who's a trader, that's, I feel like, where the meta or the narrative is going to be, is just building or investing around where you think there's going to be affluent, influential KOLs, brands, and so on and so forth, investing or creating their products and onboarding their own users to also, for them to be able to get new capital into this industry. I do think this is essentially how mainstream adoption is going to enter the space. It's not like what we thought it was going to be, just from like any of those altcoin DeFi products that was going to do it. It was always just going to be, one L1 that signifies, or positions itself as it conquers and dominates the narrative for what it is that they're doing. Like, if Solana is saying it's consumer chain and that's where all you see the activity is, then that is where it is, right? If some RWA project is saying that they are the RWA project and they've dominated that narrative, then that is where all the RWA activity is going to be. So that's where my future bets are going to be going on those 2 things. And I'm just going to be continuing building around what I believe is bringing more use cases to stablecoins, and really creating that world where, whether you're a creator or merchant, no matter where you're from around the world, right, without geo restrictions or not reliant on KYC, being able to start creating passive income online using all of this tech. So, yeah, keeping it short today. Cheers, guys. And subscribe to the channel. Every single day I'm making a video. You already know it.